Hi, this is a quick read-through of the TOK subject report based on my reading of it and my notes to it. This may be useful to you as you prepare your PPD form, and that's what this is designed to do. This is designed to help you prepare a top-notch PPD form that will support all of the great work you've done in preparing your TOK presentation. I know you've put a lot of work into the presentation, and the requirement from the IB is basically that the form reflects that work. This will help you to look at an example and look at some do's and don'ts for preparing the PPD form. So right at the top of the document you can see the grade boundaries and how they translate from the mark range. You already know that the presentation is done out of 10 marks. This document has some interesting information in it. There are 48 examiners out there who moderated the marks last year. If we move down the page, this section here is just telling you a little bit about how it's marked, and that's fine. You're welcome to read that. As we go down, we see that the IB is basically telling us the PPD reflects the quality of the presentation. Now, they only see the PPD, so they may not know that. But that gives us a strong indicator that they think of it in this way. So, another thing, a few lines below is, it's a matter of very grave concern. That's about as strong as you can use language in a document like this, that the PPD showed little and sometimes no evidence of TOK understanding. So that tells me that the PPD must show evidence of your TOK understanding. It's not to be a general document. It's not to be an outline by bullet point that gives basic information about your real-life situation. It is to show TOK understanding. And so that's a really important do. Do put in that TOK understanding in this PPD document. That's a challenge. It's not easy because it's a short document. Okay? Again, they repeat, it's concerned that there was no such analysis or indeed in the teacher comments. So that's something I'll have to pay attention to also. So that TOK analysis has to be in the PPD form. If you need help with that, please come by and see me. TOK PPD has two purposes, and preparation and planning. Okay, so it can help you get prepared, and I think really this connects up here. It says a well-planned presentation will be a good one, a badly planned presentation will be a bad one. I think they're generally talking about, is there TOK analysis? Are you planning to do that? Or are you getting up there and talking in a general sense? So this is a very, very important part, so I've done it in my favorite orange color, not really my favorite. All content that needs to be in the delivery of the presentation should be in the TK-PPD. That's a challenge. That's a really hard thing to do. You're going to have to get the meat of your presentation on a form that's limited to 500 words. That's exceedingly difficult to do and to do well. So here's a warning. Despite knowing that some candidates made very little effort to complete the doc. Basically, the doc is your lifeline to keeping your grade. The doc helps the examiner understand and moderate your grade. So that TOK analysis, again, they're harping on it again and again, that the TOK analysis does have to be in that document. So that's your goal here. Your goal is not to do a form quickly and put it in. Your goal is not to have the form just submitted and done, or be basic and explain things. You have to get that analysis in there. And the way I read this is that examiners are going to know the difference. Okay, and what I take from this section is that both you and I must explain exactly what is meant and not leave it up to guessing. So, key points from this doc. So this is page 2 of the doc. We must assure that you have an understanding of the nature of the TOK presentation. We've already worked towards this. We've already worked towards this in your planning. TK PPDs will be used for moderation. They must be sure that what you state is clear to a third person. So this is your challenge, and that's not easy. So please keep that in mind as you go forward. Okay, this section is wonderful, and it's very helpful to me in understanding what to do. This is advice from the IB examiners. This gives you an idea of section by section what to do as you go through your PPD. So section by section, you can see the advice, and they're giving you examples. So they give you the advice, and then they give you an example down below. So take a look at how they do it as you prepare your PPD. As we look at this, you have described your RLS, and you have likely already accomplished this second goal, stating your knowledge question. That section continues on the next page, and it's saying make sure you have a knowledge question that's not too vague, and that's a second order knowledge question. We've already worked on that. So that's great. And part of this is celebrating what we've already done and done well. Okay. Then we get into the difficulty. So the next bullet point is explain the connection between your RLS and your KQ. So be aware, please. This section is to be used for a very specific thing. So you do need to spend some time understanding that purpose. This tips me off to the fact that this is a place where most people stumble. Many candidates found it difficult to do what is required here. So this deserves some of your time. What is needed is an explanation of why the knowledge question is raised from their main real-life situation, okay? Do not repeat your real-life situation. Make sure that you're explaining how your knowledge question came out of that. They give you an example down here. And in reading this, you will see things like cultural belief, comes from knowledge and evidence of a very few and very selected incidents. So you've got knowledge items, you've got TOK terminology, and you've got a direct sentence that's saying that's what made me ask my knowledge question. Okay, on to the next difficult. Here's another bullet point, so that means another item on the PPD form. Outline how you intend to develop your presentation. So basically what they're asking for is what concepts and terminology are you going to use. So this is a difficult part. They're asking you to write it all down. The outline does not fulfill its purpose if it presents the structure. So don't tell them you're going to do this and then this and then this. Tell them exactly how you're going to develop the points out. They're looking for a detailed outline of your argument. Again, they're making the point over and over again. The outline must present the ideas that will be developed. Compulsory, so it's required. And here we're going to get into some translation, my translating of their words. They're asking you again to add the relevant detail, arguments, and developments, or you are going to be lowered down by the moderator. It's a cause of concern that many candidates do not complete this section with enough detail to allow the examiner to see how the real-life situation has been analyzed using the tools of TOK. So they're asking you again, make sure you show your TOK concepts and your terminology. If you need to go back and look that up, that's perfectly fine. On the next page, they're asking you to keep the focus on the TOK and not explaining multiple real-life situations. Is it easier to explain multiple real-life situations rather than focusing on the TOK? Probably, but it won't help you at all. So please take this to heart. This is a do. Keep the focus on the TOK, and it's a little bit of a warning not to just go and explain multiple real-life situations. The next bullet point is showing the next item that you need to do, how your conclusions have significance for your real-life situation and to others. Right off the bat, notice that many candidates ignored the and to others. So that differentiates you when you look back at the rubric. So you want to make sure that you have that relevance to other situations, and you want to make sure you have it right in your form. You also want to state your conclusions. What judgment can you reach and how? How do you know? And is that very clearly stated in the PPD, remembering back to the first page, so that a third person, not me and not you, can take the meaning from that. As we get on to some of the last pages, there is some nice opportunity for celebration. You have already put together a real-life situation which is concrete and substantive, so you've done that. Fantastic. You'll need to show TOK analysis. You have a knowledge question that shows that you can do this, so you've done that as well, and I think that's fantastic. So overall, the takeaway here is that you've done a lot of good work. Don't let yourself down. Make sure that your PPD reflects that you've done solid work. Again, it's hard to get it in writing form. Not easy. but nothing worthwhile really ever is. So let's take a look. Key points. What have we done well? A successful presentation will use TOK terminology and concepts. You know how to do that, and you've done that well. Teachers should advise their students on the choice of real-life situation and a central knowledge question. You all have specific ones, and that's great. And we're using the IB support materials right here. So thanks for listening. If you've gotten this far, even if you haven't, that's okay. And this is a walkthrough just to get you to understand the importance of preparing that form and doing it well so that you get the grade that you deserve through the work you've already done on your presentation.